When I was in 10th grade, we got a new English teacher at our school. His name was Mr. Ashton, and he was both young and incredibly handsome. Mr. Ashton had dark hair and warm brown eyes, and he was just 24 years old. All the girls in our school had a crush on him. During breaks, they would often walk past his classroom, hoping for a glimpse of him. Mr. Ashton was polite, approachable, and friendly, and even the other teachers appreciated him. Some of the younger teachers tried to chat with him, but he always remained professional and focused on teaching. I also liked Mr. Ashton. I thought he was the best teacher ever. I never missed his classes and always made sure to do my homework. But I was a shy girl. While my classmates would joke around with him and ask him silly questions, I couldn't bring myself to do that. Instead, I just focused on working hard in his class and listening carefully to what he said. Sometimes I would wear my favorite dress to his lessons, secretly hoping he would notice me. I felt nervous every time he called on me in class. My heart would race and my hands would shake, but I always answered his questions because I wanted to impress him. Mr. Ashton always praised me, giving me good grades and smiling at me, saying, "Great job, Leah." Hearing that made me feel like the luckiest student. Throughout the entire year, I couldn't stop thinking about him. I even dreamt about him at night. One day, I found out where he lived. His house was near my neighborhood. Sometimes I would walk past his place, hoping to catch a glimpse of him. If I did, he would smile and greet me, and if he was with his friends, I'd feel a little jealous. Then, something terrible happened when I moved to 11th grade. Mr. Ashton left the school. He had accepted a job offer in another city. I was devastated. I missed him so much that I would walk past his old house, but he was never there anymore. After some time, I began preparing for my university exams. I joined extra English classes, and on my first day, I couldn't believe it. Mr. Ashton was the teacher. I was so happy to see him again. He smiled and said, "Welcome back, Leah." For the next 6 months, I worked hard in his class, becoming one of his top students. Sometimes we would stay after class to talk. He'd ask me about my future plans, and I would ask about his new job. One day, he surprised me by offering to walk me home. I was stunned, but also thrilled. From then on, he often walked me home, and I felt like the luckiest girl in the world. Soon, we started spending more time together. We went to the park, watched movies, and talked for hours. I still remember our first kiss. It felt like a dream. I had always thought Mr. Ashton was the perfect man, but then one day he told me he had received a new job offer in the USA, and he had to move there. I was heartbroken. We promised to keep in touch by writing letters. For a while we did. I eagerly waited for his letters each week, but as time went on, the letters became less, and slowly, we lost contact. 8 years passed. One day, I found Mr. Ashton on a social media platform. I sent him a message and, to my surprise, he replied. We decided to meet. I was so excited to see him again. I put on my best outfit and went to the cafe where we had agreed to meet. When I saw him, I was shocked. He looked different. He had aged, put on some weight, and his once blonde hair was now darker. His blue eyes didn't shine as brightly as they used to. We talked for hours, but something felt off. He wasn't the same person I had fallen in love with all those years ago. After the meeting, I couldn't stop thinking about him. I remembered the young, charming teacher who had made my school days so special. But I also realized that my feelings had changed. We grow, and as we grow, we change. What was important to us in the past doesn't always hold the same significance now. But I will always smile when I think of my first love, Mr. Ashton. Seeing him again made me feel both happy and sad. I was happy to see him and catch up, but I also knew that my feelings for him were no longer the same. The next day, I found myself looking through old photos from school. I saw pictures of my friends, my teachers, and even Mr. Ashton. I smiled at those memories, thinking of how beautiful those days had been. But my life had changed. I was no longer the same girl. I was a grown woman with a job, new dreams. A week later, I received a message from Mr. Ashton. He said, "It was great meeting you again. I hope we can stay friends." I replied, "Thank you, Mr. Ashton. It was nice seeing you too. I wish you all the best." We chatted a little more, but I knew it was time to move on. One evening, I was walking in the park near my house when it began to rain. I remembered the time Mr. Ashton had walked me home in the rain, and I smiled. Life, I thought, is like rain. Sometimes it feels cold and sad, but it also nurtures new flowers to bloom. I still think about Mr. Ashton from time to time, but now, when I do, I feel happy. He was a part of my story, but he wasn't the end of it. Life is full of surprises, and it brings new people and new dreams into our lives. Sometimes, the best moments come when we least expect them. If you enjoyed this story, please like, subscribe, and share.